How's my?
Yo, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. You already know what it is, man. It's Plotting Progress Podcast, the growth spot, legacy. We in here one more time, man. What's good with y'all brothers?
Maintain.
Peace.
Hey
100.
man, chilling is
Peace, peace.
maintaining, man. Working hard.
We got a special guest, man. I want to invite one of my brothers on. I see her doing a lot in the community. I've watched a couple of his podcasts before and episodes. He out here pushing the line for the culture in Phoenix, for the entertainment culture and the scholar culture, the warrior scholar. Very very educated and enlightened brother, man. Jermaine Shoulders, what's good with you, man?
What's good, family? Thank you very much for inviting me, man. I really appreciate the invite. Been checking out the podcast the last few episodes, man. Your brothers is on to something real big, man. So I'm honored to be here. Very much appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Salute, salute. So we're gonna get into the bars. Who spit those bars? Or memorable icebreaker, which I never got one right. I don't think I ever got one right so far, man. One episode.
I got Nas. I know I got Nas, the Black Zombies.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
got one right.
Yeah. All right. I think I got one for this week. So this is one of our man highly esteemed writers of this generation, I would say. And this particular song, it's one of his. It's not one of his like commercial hits or anything. So, um, but man, this song has. I'm looking at the lyrics right now. It's got a lot of references from a lot of our greats. Whether you're talking about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, the list goes on and on. But he has a couple of lines here. Um, so he says, "Who said a black man in the Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. So get up off that slave ship, build your own pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs." Y'all know that one?
I do. I just man, come on.
That's one of
Let
my
me hear it one
favorite
more
songs
time.
of his too. All right. So he says, if I say more, I think y'all gonna catch on. So I'm gonna just say this part. He says, who said a black man in the Illuminati? Last time I checked, that was the biggest racist party. So
Kendrick?
get off that slave ship, build your own pyramids, write your own hieroglyphs.
Kendrick?
That's Kendrick, yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
true.
The song is High Power. That's on Section 80, which is like a
Hey,
mixtape
that's right.
Yeah,
before Good Kid, Mad City. So
yeah. That's the
that was
classic
my
album.
introduction to Kendrick, Section 80.
Kendrick.
Bunch of
That's
bangers
what's
on
up.
there too.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah. That's my favorite Kendrick joint.
Man, that joint
yeah.
is that joint's crazy.
Mhm.
I would have never guessed that one. Sounded like Pac, something Pac would say to
Neither
me.
would I.
Yeah, if you haven't
Yeah, I
heard that
wouldn't guess
track,
that one
High
at all.
Power, highly suggest running that back or
And you
tuning
know,
into that and just peeping that one. That's a good one. That's a good Kendrick track right there.
we need to make a mixtape and put all the songs we get the ice spit those bars on.
Indeed.
You feel me?
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
The Growth Spot mixtape,
Yeah, yeah.
Out in Progress mixtape.
Plotting
For sure.
Progress mixtape,
Indeed.
Volume One.
Ty
Indeed.
here, top pick six be like the last song on the joint.
That would be pretty dope. Well, shit, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. Jermaine, man, go ahead and just give the people a brief. I gave you a little brief introduction, but you can go a little bit more in depth on, everything what you do in there in the city and where you from and what you got going on.
All right, man. Thank you. Well, originally I'm from New York City. Born and raised. Spent my childhood out there and some of my young adulthood. Moved to LA at 18, in pursuit of Hollywood dreams, wanting to be an actor. That's what I was doing when I was a kid, as well as playing ball. I was deadly with the J, but that's for another show. Um, but yeah, man, I used to, be in front of that camera in Hollywood for a little while, man. Did about 10 years in Hollywood, did some commercials, TV shows. Then I started writing in the mid '90s, right around the time I started having babies. Um, and then I would say around the mid early 2000s, had some. I was a part of that first wave of homeowners that kind of walked away from their homes when things got crazy, out in California with the homes, and wound up in Arizona, man. Wound up in Maricopa, Arizona. And at this time, man, I was just working hard, man, just taking care of my family, working a few jobs, working a couple of jobs, writing scripts, still staying fresh, on my writing. So over the years, I developed, that skill as being a writer, a director, and a producer as well, man. So I started making little short form content, and then I formed a writers group out here called the Black Phoenicians Writers Group, and we made two films, man, two film shorts. Actually, and one of them won an award back in 2018, I believe, or 2019, I believe. And actually, one of them is going to be showing next week at the Open Call Film Festival out here in
That's
Tempe.
dope.
Check that out. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. So I'll be in Los Angeles actually at a table read for a project I'm working on out there as well. So I won't be in attendance, but people will be able to see my film. So that's me in a nutshell, man. Just working hard, raising my family. Been married for many years. Have a couple grandkids. So and just out here trying to do something. People try to always say they want to do something different, but it's not so much different as it is just trying to rekindle, a spirit that's always been within us, as a people, man. That's just to come together and do something, do something creative, like what you brothers are doing, man. Do something that's amazing, coming together and buying some land and doing things with that. I find that amazing. I've always been drawn to that, and I'm trying to do the same thing. We're not trying. I've been walking those steps and doing it in the entertainment industry here by creating short form content, by writing books for screenwriters, while trying to, give back to not only the entertainment community, but I was also a part of several um, grassroots organizations as well, where, I give back my time and give back my energy and my creativity, to the community as well, man, because, it's where I come from. So that's me in a nutshell, man. And I just want to make sure that I'm being effective in my efforts to to make changes on the entertainment level, and by entertainment I mean film, television, and theater in particular. I'm not a musician, but I am a writer, and I'm a screenwriter, and I'm a serious writer, and I have projects out there, and I'm looking to really make changes here. Well, not changes, but really bring people together, because there's a lot of talent out here, man. There's a lot of people out here, man, from different places, but a lot of the natives here too, man. It's a lot of talent, and I believe if we coalesce that, we bring that together, especially us as melanated folk, bring that together and do what our ancestors did, man, which is work together out of, as I'm sure we'll get into at some point, necessity. At this point, it's become necessity that we work together now in whatever capacity, professional, creative, whatever. Like you brothers are doing, setting the stage for it. We must do that, and I can see that this place is wide open for that. On the entertainment, scale, especially in the short form content, the short film content um, world out there. There's a lot of that, a lot of creatives out there, man. So just looking for those who want to get to work and really do something magnificent out here, man. And there's more coming down the pike that I can't really talk about at this time, but there's a lot coming, man, where I'm really, looking to coalesce this environment, these creatives, man, and do something explosive out
No doubt. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's awesome. So I got a couple questions,
here.
man. From a historical standpoint, you said talked about like coming together and things of that nature. So from a historical standpoint, how important is self sufficiency and ownership and land ownership. How do you think, how important do you think that is to us as a people?
Oh man, that's essential. That's what we did when we first came off the plantations, man. You know me, brother. You've seen a few of my podcasts. You know how I get down when it comes to that. And but just to give everybody a brief, understanding, man, that comes from, right up off the plantations, man. We were who? We were the artisans. We were the ones that were building the roads, building the houses. We the ones that was doing the plumbing, the planting. You know what I'm saying? We were not only building buildings out of wood, but we was doing it out of brick and stone. Okay. So we it was nothing for us to be able to do that for ourselves. We couldn't be around the white folk. So what do? We had to do it for ourselves. And a lot of us used a lot of ingenuity in doing so and was able to actually purchase land, in that process in order to build homesteads, in order to get their farms up and going. A lot of our people made thousands of dollars just selling things like watermelon and you know um, any kind of cultural product that they could grow, man, and amassed wealth. A lot of us did so. That's
Mhm.
essential. That's in order for any people to have any kind of um, generational not only wealth but just perpetuation, to live and survive in perpetuity. So you can see your great grands and your great grands and your great great grands all the way down, all the way down the line. You have to have land. You have to be able to cultivate that land. You have to be able to grow on that land, man. And that's absolutely essential to our survival. And you know what? We are, the original man of the planet. I don't need to go down that road with you, brothers. You understand that. So what we did around the world was cultivate. We
Mhm.
cultivated lands and as well as cultivate people. So it's essential that we as a people do that, man. And I'm just so proud and honored to see, it happening, with young brothers, man, like yourself, man. And it's just a reminder that that spirit of our ancestors and the ingenuity of our ancestors and the understanding of the necessity of coming together and doing things together is the spirit of our ancestors, man. And you brothers are bringing that forth, and in this generation. And it's a beautiful thing to see, but it's absolutely essential from a historic standpoint.
Mm.
Think about it, man. There wasn't just Tulsa, in 1921. It wasn't just Tulsa, and Tulsa didn't just erect itself overnight either. It took an entire generation in order for Tulsa to become what it became, to have 15 straight years of economic upturn, no downturns.
Mhm.
There was no depressions in that area of Oklahoma. So they were just one of many. Slocum, Texas. You had Wilmington, North Carolina. You just name it, name it, all across the South and the Midwest and areas of the North as well. And we had, agriculture, Rosewood, Florida, things are just popping in my head right now, in
Yeah,
different parts
yeah.
of the South.
No,
But,
you're right.
we had that, man. We had all that, man. So, we understood that. And what did our people do? We prospered. We made businesses. We took care of our families. And we had that sense of community that was stripped from us once we voluntarily decided to integrate ourselves into the greater society. Here we go.
Yeah,
But from a historical standpoint, it's absolutely essential, man. That goes without saying, man. And without that, you don't have a civilization. You don't have a people.
that's real shit. That's real shit. Anybody else want to expound on that question?
Yeah, I think the historical context. I believe I think we've come to learn that things kind of move in cycles. Everything. So I think the spirit that a lot of us are embodying right now is full circle to, our ancestors, on this land and obviously the motherland as well. The funny thing is once you start to tap into some of these, either trains of thought or activities, it's almost like you're reactivating a part of your DNA, and it's I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I would describe it as a deja vu, but it feels like an innate thing that you should be doing, and it's almost like rediscovering yourself. So, I think personally, connecting with the land
Mm-hmm.
simplifies everything, and less is more, as we know, right? In a lot of instances. So, I think this big production that we always talk about this. It takes you from the essence, you know. So when we can strip that down and just get back to the basics in a sense, um, it just simplifies the process and it gives you clarity in your thought as well. And I think it probably brings us a little closer to our true identity. And I think that's perhaps one of the number one issues with us on this continent is the identity conflict that we tend to have amongst ourselves. So yeah, I would just say that it's time. I think it's coming full circle, and we're returning to that part of our identity that is it's always been here. We've just for a myriad of reasons we haven't tapped into it as much as we could and perhaps should be.
I agree. True.
Couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. Well
Not
said.
really along the lines of that question, but we can move on to the next one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Dope answers, fellas. So regarding the ingenuity and coming together, all that shit that we've been on, um, is there too much? What's the word I'm looking for? Is there too much individualism uh, from us or for us? Everybody doing their own thing, everybody stuck in their own world. You know what I mean? Their own um, production, as
Man,
Kylon say. You know what I mean? Is there too much individualism, and then what is it gonna take? You know what I'm saying, for us to get back to the community and the motherfucking family vibrations, and or are we too far gone?
if I could, man, all of the above. All of the above, man. We too far gone in some instances. We are reclaiming our past, who we are. We're falling back in alignment of who we are. But a lot of us, man, are just individualistic because we've been poisoned by the vampire, man. We've been bitten by the snake. In certain parts of Africa, they call us white people. They call us, we're Americans, man. We're Americans. And like a lot of other black people on the planet, because look at where we are. Look at where we are. So yeah, man, we do move on an individualistic vibe, man. And I think that's something that's because of how we've been conditioned, bro. We've been conditioned to really move like that. Just think
Making
about it. I was thinking about this the other day, just to give you an example or illustration. Um, and I'll make this quick, man. It's I did a little bit of research. There are quite a few black attorneys out here, right? Just to give you a perfect example, right? The major areas of law that they work in are accidents, divorce, um, medical malpractice. Those are kind of the main personal injury. Those are like the main four, and you may have some bankruptcy, but those are the main four areas of law, right? That they pretty much. Why have 20 different individual firms when you got 12 of you guys who do the same law? Why not come together? I've worked in several law firms. I've seen them do it. Why not come together, appoint 4 or 5 people to head the firm, and everybody else works up under everyone else? Why? That creates an institution. Now you have, you know, an entire firm of expertise of black attorneys, and now you got the young black attorneys coming out of ASU, the young ones
Right.
coming out of U of A, from other
Right.
parts of the country. Now they have to come to. So that's just an example of what I mean. It shouldn't be, 20,000 individual, Um, businesses like that when we're all pretty much doing the same thing. Okay, why don't we get together and do a swap meet? If everybody's selling bracelets, t-shirts, kufis, and dashikis, why don't we all get together and consolidate that power? There's nothing wrong with selling that stuff. But let's get together, do it and form a department store and form a little hierarchy. Now our kids have something to look up to. So that's what I mean, by um, consolidating that energy and that power, man. That's what's missing. So that individualistic, I guess that's kind of a solution. I don't know if it's pie in the sky solution, but that's how I see it in my mind is as working is what our ancestors did. If anybody can read the book Green Money, um, Green Power. It's about the life of A.G. Gaston. Okay. This man built 14 businesses in the Jim Crow South. Okay, he was the benefactor of a lot of the civil rights movements. He was the benefactor. He was the one kind of funding a lot of this stuff. This was an
He's
old
the one
man that
putting
amassed
up the money.
a fortune just right, just providing the needs of his community. That's it. He provided the needs of his community. Oh, we need secretaries for this. Okay, he built a school and trained secretaries to run what? His insurance company. His insurance company did what? Help fuel the barbershops and the grocery stores and the movie theaters. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he was doing, and he was just forming these businesses based off of the needs of his community. That's the solution. The problem is we're individualistic. We have too much of the enemy in us, and I have to put it that way. We have too much of him in us to really
Facts.
work at it effectively. So, and it's going to take a whole lot of exorcising to get that out of us. A lot of spiritual growth and development to get that out of us, man. We have to vomit that out of us like anything else that our bodies don't agree with because it's what's holding us back. You know what I'm saying? And if we're not recognizing now in this day and age, in this climate, of what's happening now, that we all we got, family, we all we got. If we can't understand that at this point, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to really say. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, mm.
We really shouldn't have all this individualism because I mean, just think about it. Look how Phoenix is set up. We're scattered throughout the entire valley from Surprise to Queen Creek. You know what I'm saying? From Fountain Valley down to Maricopa. You know what I'm saying? We all over the place. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? Imagine a consolidation of that energy in whatever area. You don't have to be the South Side, but it could be anywhere. Imagine a consolidation of that. What we can do, man.
Yeah, I agree with
Mm.
that.
It
And
sounds simple, but you're dealing with
I think we have an interesting dichotomy. So there's a spectrum of individualism and collectivism. I would agree that we are perhaps skewed too far on the spectrum of individualism, and a lot of that is contributed to the format of our society, capitalism, and there's pros and cons to that, right? But I think what tends to happen when you're too individualistic is that for the most part, people um, privatize the gains and then they socialize the losses. So what does that mean? So when they're up, they just they keep it close and in their own bubble, insulated, and they flexing on you or whatever. Um, your problems they don't give a damn about because they kind of like in their own world, and that is akin to how someone can be well off yet they can walk by people on the street that are clearly suffering, right? And they're just unfazed. um so I think we got to consider that, because I don't know if our society allows us to skew all the way over into collectivism, but I think we need like a healthy mix of that because individualism is important because it enables people to be innovative, right? Thinking outside the box. A lot of our greatest thinkers and people that push the culture forward, they're thinking outside the box. They're going against the grain. They're doing things that are not conventional, so that is important, but I think we need more of a targeted collectivism, where it's not necessarily universal, but it is indicative of those that we identify with, right? Through behavioral patterns and principles, not the optics, not because of how we or things look, but how they go about their business, how they procreate, how they build, just being intentional about that. So I think that's a valid point, to identify that, yeah, we are very individualistic. And to this point, I think it is at our detriment because now everybody's competing against each other. And, that's only going to go so far, right? So I think we definitely need to find ways to dial that back. And I don't think we need many people to do it. I think one thing about our culture in particular is that things come in waves, right? We are the trendsetters, and essentially Black Americans, right, on this continent are perhaps, no, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're the most influential people on the planet, right? So I think when we start to demonstrate these concepts and we start to show and prove and reinvigorate these concepts, like you talked about Tulsa and Rosewood and Wilmington, and we start to kind of implement those type of efforts yet again, then it's going to become commonplace amongst those that identify with what they see is working, right? If the math is mathing, people are going to duplicate those efforts. So I think we have to be intentional about that and then demonstrate that it is sustainable, not only sustainable, that it is regenerative, right? So it can be further enhanced and it could be rebirthed and you know that type of thing. Instead of reaching back into the past only and just kind of having reverence for that, we have to figure out how to pull that forward and implement it with the modernization of the technology we have, all the wisdom we have, like the access to the information alone. It Possibilities are endless. So I think we just got to figure out how to continuously leverage those tools that we have at our disposal.
Mm. I respect both of y'all answers. Sometimes I think, sometimes I think there's hope for people to, for us to come together and do things. And then sometimes I get on my grumpy old man shit and be like, yo, like we're fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like it just depends on my mood, how I'm feeling that day and what I see and what I view. But I personally think, you do want some individualism, but like you said, Kylon, it's coming to our detriment at this point. Because now, like we're a team. So you don't want to compete with your team. You want to eat with your team. Everybody wants to compete with your team. You got 40 acres. I got 40 acres. Or I got 42 acres. Well, how about we put this shit together, man, and get 1,000 of them motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? Or you got the like Brother Jermaine said, like, you selling the dashikis and trinkets. How about we, I'm selling it too. How about we get a motherfucking strip mall? You know what I'm saying? Or you know what I mean? Like I think we need to get on that. And one thing I will say about us is we're fast learners. So once we, like you say, if the math is math, then I think it will create a different trajectory. You got a question, bro?
Yeah, I got a question. So I just kind of thought about this. So when we reference like things of the past that we did out of necessity, due to the circumstances, right? There were certain things we couldn't do, right? So it was a matter of being cooperative, working together, because it was a mechanism for survival. So in the context of society today, what do y'all think? What kind of event? What kind of I don't know, what kind of like cultural wave, what do you think it would take to get the masses of our demographic to kind of like get on the same page and actually get back to that energy? What do you think it would take?
You already know what I'm gonna say.
Good question.
I said it before. You know what I'm saying, right, Kyle?
Go on, say it.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Bring back slavery.
No, you lost me there. What?
Hey, you wow.
If they brought back slavery, implemented back
Nah,
slavery, we would get on the same page? Or you think we
All
all
right,
still doing that individualistic bullshit?
expound on that. Why?
Yeah, yeah.
How, and what,
Break it
and how
down.
would that? How would?
We all recognize that we're being targeted, so we got to stick together. We got to be together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just really think if that happened, it was like the Sister Soldier song. It really happened, and they announced we're putting slavery back into effect. You know what I'm saying? All black people rounding y'all up. You think we're going to be individualistic, or are we going to be working together to fight back against that shit?
Yeah, it's a little extreme, but yeah, I can't disagree.
It's extreme because I'm trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's changed.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But we've been tricked into being comfortable and complacent in a system that completely destroyed our people, and we look at the token Negroes or will point out certain individuals that don't reflect the majority. And what's really messed up about it, those individuals don't even care about the collective. You know what I'm saying? The other night we were talking about, what is it going to take for people to get involved and want to support? Some people are just not going to support because they just don't care. You have to care in the first place. I bet you if they implement slavery again, everybody will start caring about each other again, at least black people. I bet you.
I will say I disagree with you, but
Well,
you do have a point, and I see your point.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
see.
it would definitely have to
Point.
be something extreme.
I would know about chattel slavery. But, yeah, like
You
Jim
gonna
Crow,
take it
like
or you gonna
put the
fight
signs
back?
back up.
That's
So,
simple.
you know what I'm saying? Like we can let's soft shoe it into it first, man. You know what I'm saying? Like give us a chance to coalesce before they just throw us.
I personally think
I
it's going to take.
definitely I
Well,
definitely could see.
go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. My bad.
Oh no, I would say I definitely think maybe something that turns up the heat on us. You know what I mean? And I think what started to happen under Trump. It actually started to happen under Trump when we started seeing certain things as a community, and that's when the black businesses exploded just before the pandemic hit. Things started like kind of moving in a certain direction because we're starting to see like, oh man, the seam is the fabric is starting to unravel here, and things are for us as a community. So
So I definitely think it would
yeah,
have
I
to be
think
in the form of
the
some kind.
business is
Oh, my bad.
concerned, but we still have a long way to go as far as collectivity. So yeah, we seen the move. We got a little fire. Yeah, we seen the move. We got some fire up under us. So
That's real. I would say briefly, some form of major political crisis, like you said, with the Trump motherfucker, or shit, even the Biden motherfucker. Some form of major political crisis, or some form of economical or racial crisis. I
Yeah.
think that'll light a fire up under us. I personally would hope that it wouldn't just. I wouldn't hope it would have to be a hard head, make a soft ass type of thing that'll make that happen.
Mm.
They could just start
But a
confiscating.
hard head make a soft ass. I mean, and Jermaine, he has a point. He did. I did see that too. Where coming together, economics and group economics and pushing the culture. Everybody's coming together for the culture. But then I see True's point. Some people just don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then I also see the point of us coming together as far as
those are
just
the ones
like
we don't
unity.
bother with. Man.
Right. You know what I mean? And so it's a tough question to answer, bro.
I was thinking something that's a whole lot less extreme. They could just start confiscating everybody's PlayStation 5, and I bet you everybody would throw a fit and want to, fight, push back against that. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the clubs
Definitely
anymore.
a good question.
Everybody would be, unified on that. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole lot less extreme. things niggas care about. You know what I mean? Like they don't care about what we were talking about earlier, but they care about that shit. They care about PlayStation 5 and going to the club. You know what I'm saying? But take
Restrict.
those away. Yeah. I
Get
want
us some Chinese, get us some Chinese communist
Yeah,
shit.
Negroes
Hey,
always
yo,
want to
you're
have
gonna only be
fun.
on social media two hours a day.
yo, yeah, that's real. But brother Jay, I want to ask brother Jay a question, man.
Right.
Like Nina Simone, Nina
Yeah.
Simone said, anything, any artists,
Yeah.
their music, their film, it's their responsibility to put a message or the movement in their art. How do you feel about that, and how do you implement that with what you're bringing to the people as well?
Oh, that's a great question, bro. I'm so glad you asked that question because that's my entire intention is to do that. So, um, in some of my earlier work, I think as I started getting older and thinking about certain things, man, I realized that our people are predisposed to just want to sit down and just watch something on TV, right? Well, how do we change our people's minds? And this is answering your question directly, True. Well, we put that stuff in the movies, in the TV shows. What do you mean? Well, we start showing movies about those people that we don't really hear about. We don't. How come there's never been a movie about Ida B. Wells? How come there's never been a movie about um, um, the W.E.B. Du Bois? How come we don't have any movies about any of our inventors, Robert Small, who captured the slave ship and freed a whole
Slave, it's
bunch of
just
people, who
slaves.
was
It's
just
just slaves,
on some daring
slaves and
Wisdom
pussy
of
and
swashbuckling
self.
money
stuff.
and
How
pussy.
come we don't hear about yeah? How come we get all just slave movies and all of that stuff? Right. How come we not seeing our historical figures and the heroes that actually did stuff that we some
Yeah.
of us have read about in the books and some of us haven't? Implementing that type of stuff into my work, absolutely, because I think that's how we start seeing ourselves in a different way. Just like it took 50 years of hip hop, to kind of, expose the world to the degenerate side of what we do. Even though I'm from the place of hip hop. I've seen the degeneracy from day one. It's always been there. It was just never something that was part of hip hop. It kind of was on the outskirts. That you did your dirt outside of that. Hip hop was clean and fun. So it evolved. But you know, um, getting back to my point, it's implementing our historical figures, our intellectuals in these stories, man. I even have clippings of articles and books of people who you will never hear about, who invented cars and who've done amazing things that we never hear about. And I think that's how we start changing, the mind state. We have to put it in our entertainment. We have to put it in the things that we see that we enjoy, that we can maybe take in. I mean, that's my effort, man. And I think that's a great question because that's something I think is highly important because that's how Hollywood puts in their fake heroes, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
how a lot of us think. That's how some of our women or women in general have this princess, fairy tale fantasy crap, going back from Disney, back in the 40s and 50s. You know what I'm saying? And it now a whole romance industry evolved from that. You see what I'm saying? So we implementing our culture, our true black excellence into what we've done, what I'm saying, throughout the annals of time, but we just do it from the 160 years from emancipation till now. That's enough stories to last, generations and generations, and we can just tell different iterations of, the stories of our heroes. So yeah, the idea is to definitely implement that. And in my earlier work, I didn't do it as much as I should have because I'm really focused on, the a different aspect, but I see the importance of doing that. And my work going forward is definitely in that direction. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
That's a
so
good question. That's a good question. True.
if
Go ahead.
if I could just
To
add
answer
real
the
quick,
question, but absolutely.
one thing about us that is to our benefit or advantage is that culturally we have the ability and the tendency to pivot really quick away from things, right? Um, just think about in your lifetime how quick trends come and go, right? One day, FUBU just wasn't cool no more for whatever reason, and
I
then
hate
you was getting clowned about
that.
wearing it, but it was like the shit, at a point, right? But a lot of these waves that come, they have short lifespans, and things come and go, like from the way we dress, things we listen to, certain artists that we all used to listen to, like everybody was fronting like they wasn't listening to MC Hammer or something, like that. I mean, he was the dude, and then he wasn't, and then we was on to something else. So I think where that could serve us well is that we could promote, like what we talking about, whether it be land ownership or anything in a productive sense. And we don't necessarily need the celebrities to kind of like pioneer any of these pivots, because usually they don't. Usually they just keep their ear to the street and they see what's coming, they have insight, and then they latch on to it, and then boom, it gets like amplified to the masses, and then they take that and run with it. So I'll liken that to like right now, I'm gonna use Beyonce as an example, right? So black people in this country and cowboys have a rich history, especially in the South, right? Now she's from Houston, and Houston does like the big rodeo and all of that, and black people are like heavily invested in this event and that culture in general. You know what I mean? And there's other areas throughout the country too where there's a lot of black cowboys and things of that nature. But now, I'm starting to see people dive deeper into that and embrace that, not only the music, but the style and just the lifestyle in general, right? So it's just another example of how quickly we pivot into something else. So, there's going to be something after that as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for us to like capture and capitalize some of these movements when there's truly like equitable benefit for the collective. And we got to like keep that, you know what I mean? Because we so quick to discard things that are actually like beneficial or
Hey,
actually serve as great examples of how we can like emulate or duplicate those efforts. Would y'all agree with that? Like, I feel like in my lifetime, like, man, I'm just thinking about whether it be like certain artists, certain styles. Um, it's like one day, oh, this shit ain't cool no more. And it was like, we was just doing this yesterday, but it ain't cool no more. We can't do that no more. And it's just funny how quickly the pace that we have as a collective. And then it's like nationwide, we're much more homogenous as far as like culturally, like what you talking about, music or whatever. For the most part, everybody kind of doing the same thing. Like people may talk a little different or whatever, but everybody's kind of like following the same waves in a sense. So I think we
Look at how
we
they
need to
did
figure out how to
Beyonce
leverage
too.
that. Say that
Talk shit
again.
about her. Look at how they did her. Talking shit about her. Or
Right.
black people can't do country music, not knowing that we solidified music theory in this whole country to fucking begin with.
they all know that.
All of that is traced back to us. Name a genre. Other than that, that yelling fucking rock shit. Like other than that, man, everything else, death metal is what it's called. But other than that, everything else is traced back to us. And like you were saying, man,
We was doing that too, brother. We did that too.
yeah.
There's three brothers out of Detroit, man, that got an album in the 70s that was doing
With
just
locks,
that.
with locks,
Yes.
they didn't start
Huh?
that, bro. They didn't start that. That's slow frequencies
Huh?
music. You feel me? That death
No, I
metal.
didn't say I didn't start that. I said they was in there.
Oh yeah, we in everything.
Yeah.
Hands.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wrapping things up, brother Jay. You said you plan on getting some land for your family, or what's your plans there, man?
Man, actually, me and I have two sons, man, and we kind of sit around and we talk about um, actually, man, putting together a family compound. To be honest with you, man, like getting some land and having an actual compound with the family. I have four kids total, and three grandkids right now. Um, Everyone's interested in learning how to farm. Everyone is interested in learning how to take care of animals. Everyone is interested in that idea. So right now we're actually in the building stages of getting ourselves together, getting our money up, deciding where we want to purchase. So we're definitely on that trajectory because it's like I said, it's important, man. And the older I get, and seeing that, I didn't have, and this is not a sob story, of course, but I didn't have something like that passed down to me. You know what I'm saying? Because my mother is a child of the '60s, and she went through a lot. She's from the South, so it was a lot. Nothing passed down to her. So those types of things. This is something that can actually break that cycle, return us back to where we were, man. And I'm just thankful that my kids are on the same wavelength. My daughter, she's with her boyfriend, and they got a couple kids in Texas, man. They talking about living off the grid and getting an RV and just living like that. And I was like, wow, you guys are serious. You're gonna be 30 years old. You thinking like that? But it's where we are right now, man. And I ain't mad at them for having those thoughts. So yeah, definitely cooking that family compound. Absolutely.
That's dope.
And
That's
of
dope.
course,
Anybody want to
it'll
give
be
brother?
collective with people in the community to
Yeah.
preserve that for sure.
Well, it's not that hard too, bro. All you got to do is say, like you said, save up the down payment or save up the purchase price and go from there, man.
Most
You know,
important, work together. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Work
Anybody got it?
together, right.
Yeah. Anybody got any closing words? We wrap things up.
I, I don't necessarily want to wrap it up. Somebody else could do that, but I just want to say I really like this episode and how we were focusing on working together versus competing all the time, because that is a big problem. Jermaine, I was waiting for you to say what the number one issue was, but Kylon went ahead and said it when he referenced capitalism. I was waiting for you to say it though, because I thought you were, because you kept talking about it, but you never just said it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I really feel like those that
Right.
listened will gain a lot from it as well, and maybe rethink some of how they approach things.
Mm,
No.
Good point. Yeah, I just want to say, man, and I appreciate the invite. It's a great conversation. And like I said, man, brothers are on the right trajectory, getting that land and doing something with it. I'm excited about the upcoming events and whatnot. Brothers got going on with that. But like I said, man, if we don't do it together, it's at a point where it's becoming a necessity to do it. So it's to our detriment if we don't.
Hey, yo, Kyle,
In whatever capacities it builds the best power base.
Kyle, hit us with that
What was
quote.
that?
I was telling Kyle to hit us with that quote
What
Which
was that?
one?
about going further. You know what I'm talking about?
If you want to go
Which
fast,
one?
if you want to go far, go together.
Say it
Correct.
one more time. Say it one more time.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you like to go far, go together.
Go further, indeed.
I believe that's the quote. That
That's
might
it.
even be like an African proverb, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Thought so.
Yeah, it
Thought
is. It
it's
is.
valid.
Yeah, it's definitely valid, bro. It's definitely valid. For sure, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate y'all time. Everybody who's watching, man, be sure to like, subscribe, share the shit. If anybody wants to be a guest, you can hit us up at any one of our platforms right there, the email or the Instagram, all that's right there. Anybody has some questions or topics that they want us to touch on as well, we willing to do that, man. Other than that, man, peace and blessings, peace and power.
Peace.
Peace.